rules for operations are PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which means parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction is how you would solve a problem. So if I take this number, let's see here. What do you get for your answer? Anybody? Following PEMDAS, what do you get?
1.
1? Yeah, well, let me just add this to you because they didn't teach you PEMDAS right. Multiplication and division, addition and subtraction, are worked equally left or right. That means you do this first, which is 3 times 3, which is equal to 9. Now, if you followed PEMDAS without someone explaining it to you, you would have done the multiplication first, which would have given you 6 divided by 6, which is equal to 1. You'd have been wrong. So I want to bring that out. That's the only thing they're going to try to teach you in that section now is PEMDAS, and you should remember that multiplication and division are worked equally, whichever comes first, left or right. So in this particular problem, the division came first, which gave you 3, and then 3 times 3 gives you 9. I promise you, one on the test will give you a choice of 1 or 9. And of course, this one is wrong. Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of them like that that I got trapped on when I was young too. So, yeah. Going, the next one is 9. Same thing, order of operations, again, parentheses. PEMDAS works the same. Parentheses got used first. 8 minus 10 is -2. You can see the order that they follow. They give you the problem first. Then they work out the parentheses first. Then they work the exponent, which gives you 8. And then you have 10 times the -2, which is a -10. 8 divided by 4, which is 2. And then you add them, you get -8. Same thing for that one. This is about on a checking account. I mean, I have this one memorized. If you have $1,100 in the bank and you spend 10 times 240, you spend $2,400. And if you still add $1,200 to cover it, you're still overdrawn by $100. And I have to buy that special insurance that says overdraft protection, and I have to have enough money in my savings to cover that. And without that, I'd be broke. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right, well, that's the end of that chapter. Let's go to the next one. Should be the last one. I'm not that bad, really. I do spend. Let's try irrational numbers. 5.3. Well, they're fractions. They're both positive and negative. Now, on the test, they're going to try to trick you again. They're going to give you something like the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is really 2. Oh, somebody's got their... Can you put your mute on? Someone? We're hearing a lot of... All right, thank you. Okay. These are fractions that are proper. An improper fraction means the top is bigger than the bottom, which is an improper, like 17/6. In order to make that a proper fraction, you divide 6 into 17, which gives you 2. The remainder of 5, so it becomes 2 and 5/6. It looks like just what they show there. Pretty easy. Improper fraction, again, is known as a number with a numerator greater than the denominator. When you get it to be correct, which is the 2 and 5/6, it's a mixed number because it has a whole number and a fraction. Write 7 and 2/5 as an improper fraction. This is what we call popcorn. I'll show you how we do it. I mean, that's what we used to call it. So 7 and 2/5. So in popcorn, to make this a improper fraction, You take this number times this number, and we add this number. So 7 times 5 is 35. And we add the 2, which gives us 37. The denominator stays the same, all over 5. This is times. This is add. Look better like that, maybe. So you have 7 times 5 is 35, plus the 2 equals 37, and the denominator always stays the same. So I think that's what they show, probably better than me, but at least you can see it from the written viewpoint. And there it is, 37.5. Go to the next one. Reduced. Now, whenever you reduce a number, I always reduce. I like the way they do this. You have 18 over 24. Some people can look at it and say, well, I can divide it both by 2. And you're right. Whatever you can do the top, do the bottom. But some people might say, well, I can reduce it by 6 right away. And you get it correct. Either way, whatever works for you. So if you divide it by 2 first, you got 9 over 12. And then you divide it by 3, you got the correct answer, 3/4. If you divide it by 6 first, you get 3 over 4. Either way, you're good. And there's the answer. Let me show you a couple ways. Is there a way to do every math problem one way? Probably hardly ever. You can always do math problems. Again, if you get a teacher who says this is the only way you can do something, I would think you might want to run away from that teacher, because I've been teaching math long enough to know that there's lots of ways to do stuff. And you already know that. And probably you won't even find a teacher that says that again. All right, let's go to the next one. Rewriting a fraction from a larger denominator. Well, look, this is 3/8 and 32. They have 3/8 all over 32. The rule in math is this. Whatever I multiply 8 by to get to 32, I got to multiply the top by, which was 4. Because the rule is, whatever you do at the top, you got to do the bottom. So this becomes 12 over 32. That's all I got to do. And if you weren't sure, you could take 32, divided by 8 with your calculator, you'd come up with 4. That's how they did that. And whatever you do the bottom, you got to do the top. Whatever you do the left, you got to do the right. Number 5. This is fractions. When you multiply it, 5 times 3, 8 times 5. Now you can cancel. Let me show you this one. Well, look. You can cancel diagonally. You can cancel vertically, but you can never cancel horizontally. So that cancels, as you can see here in A, vertically. And you end up with 3 over 8. It's easy. The answer for B is going to be a negative number because it's negative times a positive. You can cancel the 3. So 3 goes into itself 1 time and then 9 twice. So 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 11 is 22. So you have 5 over 22, but it's negative. And that's what it should be down here. 5 over 33, 3 times 11 is 33. Yeah. And then, of course, we have the last one. You got to make those into improper fractions. Remember, we did that with popcorn. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. There it is, 7 over 4. And then the other one is 2 times 5 plus 2 is 12 over 5. Now, to multiply, you can divide the 4 by 4 and the 12 by 4. And you get 3 times 7 is 21. And 1 times 5 is 5. Now, let me show you something that's going to be important. Well, that's all important, but let's look at this thing. If I say you have 1/2 divide, let me do this. Let's say 5/8 divided by 2/5. Most people will say, okay, Dr. Wick said you can do diagonally, vertically, never horizontally. Well, the problem is this. You can only do that after you flipped it. If you haven't flipped it, then it's a problem. So this would be 1, 4, 1, 1, getting an answer of 1 over 4. That would be wrong. Remember we had 5/8 divided by 2/5? You have to flip it. This is now 5/8 times 5 seconds, which is now going to give you 25 over 16, which is in proper fraction, which is 1 and 9 over 16. So 5 times 5 is 25, 8 times 2 is 16. You could not cancel. They will try to trick you with a problem like this because they want to make you reduce, make you think you're smart, but they will catch you. All right? All right, then you find the answer to this. Once you put the 8 goes on top, you can cancel. Notice it's a positive times a negative, so you have 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times 5, so it's negative 5, 6. Again, it's pretty simple. So remember the rules. Anytime you have division, you have to flip it and multiply it. But you cannot cancel until you flip it. Adding them with a common denominator, easy. It becomes 5 and 11 is 16 over 12. This is easy. 7 minus 4 is 3. Which, by the way, is 1. Show that anything was up is 1. Now, if we're going to add two numbers that do not have a common D, we have to have a common D. I want to do this one for you. 1/4 plus 1/5/6. Why? Because there's a couple things that I want to point out to make your life easier. Just a refresher. So you have 1/4, like this, plus 5/6. Notice I do it in a vertical format, and I build my platform for adding. Now, most people say, well, the common denominator is 6 times 4 is 24, and it would work, and you'd be right, but yet you'd be wrong. Why? Because it makes the number too big. Start out with 6. Will 4 go into 6? No. But what's the next increment of 6? 12. And that works. So your numbers are smaller.